As someone who moved 20 hours away from my family to the middle of nowhere, I know exactly how it feels when you are trying to make friends. It's lonely, it's boring, and sometimes you're even a little bit sad. No one told me how hard it was to make friends as an adult. You know, in school, friendship happen naturally. You usually sit with people, you're in classes together, especially if you're in college, you're all working towards the same goal most of the time. So you generally have like-minded people around you. Now we are in our 20s, 30s, 40s, however old, and we are doing our day-to-day daily routines. We're going to work, and it seems like the time of making friends is kind of hard to put in your schedule. The biggest mind shift that helped me, I started doing things that I like to do alone. I didn't wait for people to go with me because I had no one to go with me. Yes, I was nervous, I was intimidated. If I did group class, I would usually hide in the back, or if I went to a coffee shop alone, I would sit in the corner. But the more I started to go to these classes, the coffee shops, the ice cream places, the restaurants, people started to recognize me, and I became more of like a familiar face, and that usually led to someone saying, "Hi, how are you?" or leading up to a different conversation. The easiest way to start a conversation with someone is just give them a compliment. Everyone loves to be complimented. I usually would say something simple, "Oh my gosh, I love your shoes," or "Oh my gosh, I like your shirt." And I would be honest, it was a genuine compliment. And then if they responded to me and they seemed interested, I would follow up with another conversation or another topic just to see how far the conversation would go. Another thing I've realized is that people like to make plans, but they don't want to be the organizer of the plans. So I ended up being that person. Every time I saw someone that I maybe knew just a little bit, but I did want to get to know them better, I would say, "Hey, I want to go to this new store next weekend. Do you want to go with me?" I'm not going to say I didn't leave room for a no, but when I say that, I didn't just say, "Oh, we should make plans sometimes," because you know how it is. We say we're going to make plans sometimes, and then days go by, weeks go by, and you never end up hanging out with that person. That happens with some of your close friends now. That can happen with any friend, regardless of how long you know them. It's hard to make plans if you don't actually have a set date and a set time. Of course, I always left the invite very casual, never pushy, but if I did find people who were, I feel like they would go well together, I would end up making a group event. I would try to create girls' nights. Most of the time, you can make friends faster in group settings. And another way I would say, if you really are starting from scratch and you really don't know what to do, maybe you're not the kind of person to reach out and say hi to someone at a random store or a coffee shop, I would suggest going to group classes. I mentioned you used to go to group workout classes, and yes, in the beginning I did stand in the back, but again, everything is something that you gain your confidence in. So eventually I did start working my way up to the front. I would say hi to the front desk lady. The more I went there, the more you go somewhere, the more you're going to be comfortable speaking and saying hi. That's just commonly how the way things go. Most of the friends that I ended up meeting was just because I consistently went somewhere and we shared a common interest. Again, there was a point where I felt like I had no one. I was 21 years old. Again, I was in the middle of nowhere. I lived in North Dakota. It was cold most of the time, and the city was kind of small. It wasn't as diverse. But I really think that life and friendship is just about you putting yourself out there. One of my closest friends was because I just put myself out there and I went to a Christmas party. I was not going to go at all. I had only known the person that invited me, and they had asked me at the beginning of the week, and I said, "No, I'm not going to do it." It's like, I'm not going somewhere where I know anyone. So, the day came, I was like, "You know what, Mariah, just go for 10 minutes. If you go for 10 minutes and you don't like it, you can always leave. You have a car." And, I went for the 10 minutes, and there was a lot that happened that night, a bunch of funny stuff, and I actually ended up going back the same night just to watch movies and have a game night and all that kind of stuff. And again, I ended up meeting one of my closest friends, and then after that, I kid you not, me and the girl, we ended up spending the rest of the year together, even to this day, still close like family. So I say all this to say, yes, it can be scary. No, I did not want to go to that party, but just imagine if I didn't go, I literally would not have one of my closest friends that I know and I'm gonna know forever. So if you feel like you are struggling, don't worry. Try to go do something new every other weekend and just try saying hi. Simple as speaking up first. A lot of people are nervous to speak up too, and maybe they feel exactly how you feel. Let me know in the comments what you think is the hardest part or the weirdest part or maybe the most awkwardest part. And yeah, I'll see you back here same time next week. Also, don't forget to subscribe. If you made it this far in, you might as well subscribe.